time. I'm on time today. I know you guys aren't used to me actually managing to be on the clock, but well, there you go. You get to see me when I actually do manage. I feel bad, chat. I feel bad. It's like I got hit by a truck. It's what happens when you reverse your sleeping schedule. So I've been sleeping during the day. I just woke up a little bit earlier, set up the stream, and I feel incredibly fatigued. But hopefully you guys feel better. I'm going to get back into it in a bit though. Trying to find out where the chat is because I don't see what you guys are saying. And we're going to have some interesting conversations today. One of them is about COVID. Right. A lot of people are worried that I guess like COVID restrictions are going to come back, and this is due to the Canadian variant. Right now, I think it's due to the fact that Alex Jones has claimed that COVID is coming. And this caused a little bit of a panic because in the past turns out that Alex Jones was right on many things. I don't think that the restrictions are coming back for two reasons. Number one, when they talk about the new variant, they're not saying that it's more deadly. They're not saying that it's killing people. They're saying that it's more transmissible. Okay. But secondly, the restrictions themselves are very popular. I mean, a lot of people that I know, even on the left, are completely fed up with the restrictions. A lot of scandals and a lot of accusations have been levied. People feel that the censorship wasn't needed, that they've been lied to. I don't think that they're going to come back with the pandemic. And you say it's a voting year, I guess, but like it would enrage people so much that no matter who would vote against the guy issuing the restrictions, I think the other person would win. So that's my take. We'll see if I'm right or not. Okay, but personally, I think that you're not going to see restrictions. I think that they're going to come up with like a new booster shot or something like that. It's going to be advertised for the people that want it. But it's not going to be pushed like before. You're not going to have to show QR code in order to get to McDonald's. So this is my take. Will I be correct? I don't know. We'll see. I rarely am wrong. I think like the only time I was wrong with the prediction was with the conflict in Ukraine. I thought that Russia isn't going to invade, and yet they did. But that's like the only prediction that I made which was false. I'm making a game where I have like evil demonic succubi. And I tried making them as evil as possible, kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type of succubi. Like they're still seductive and they're wholesome and flirty, but like they're really evil. And I tried to think like, how can I make a person be incredibly evil? And today I found a news article. Well, actually yesterday I found a news article which even Arch didn't want to read on his channel. And I gotta say, like, my imagination, I like to pride myself with it, that it's very rich and vibrant. And I can come up with a lot of messed up stuff. However, what I saw in real life, what this nurse did, is beyond the pale. Like, even I couldn't imagine something so horrible. So, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is a real case. Let me see if I can bring it up. But there is a nurse in, I think it's the United States. Like, hold on, I'll try to find it. Just give me a second. I don't want to spoil what she did, but like when you're going to find out, you're not going to be able to believe it. It's like there is, I believe, no other definition of pure evil that bypasses this. I know I'm hyping it up, but it's true. So let me see if I can find it, because I sent it to Arch, I believe. If I can't find it, I'll just tell it from memory, but it's not the same. Here we go. So, this lady is called the Killer Nurse. Tell me, chat, do you think you can fix her? Can you fix her, chat? So what she did is she actually liked a doctor, a colleague of hers, and in order to see the colleague, she would get the babies under her care sick, and some even died. So like whenever a baby was sick, the doctor would come up, and she would spend like 15 minutes with him. And she did this repeatedly with different children. Like, I had to check it out. It's like, no, this, because usually like when it's something political, I check it out to see if well, maybe it's a false news article, maybe something like that. But no, like this one is legit. So let me see. Killer nurse created crisis. I love the fact how I don't even know if I can express it this way, but um every single time, I mean, maybe it's just me, but like every single time it's like a woman doing it, they're sugarcoating it, and they're coming up, it's like killer nurse, created crisis. They're like, murderer is what you're supposed to say. Serial killer. Anyway, so killer nurse created crisis situation to get the attention of doctor. She was suspected of having a secret affair with a married doctor who became her best friend while she was murdering babies at work. The nurse medic went on a trip to London, met up for walks and meals together in their free time away from the hospital, and swapped hundreds of messages on Facebook. Apparently, they were nothing more than trusted friends and denied being in love with the doctor, who applied for anonymity at the start of the trial and cannot be identified for legal reasons. But she called him sweetie in messages and broke down in tears and tried to leave the dock when the father of two betrayed her by coming to court to give evidence against her. She admitted that he had visited her home where she lived alone, and the content of many messages simply described of a social nature that were recovered by police from her mobile phone and exchanged between the pair, often hours at a time. Alright, so if you have any doubt about how good you are at your job, just stop now. Jesus, these are so cheesy. So texts between Libby and the man named Doctor were read on court. They appeared to show the doctor comforting the killer nurse as she feigned upset after the death of one of her victims. So just understand what she did, right? Like she killed the baby so that this doctor can sex with her. In another exchange over WhatsApp, appeared to chat about her blossoming friendship with the doctor, who prosecutors said that she had tried to impress by creating crisis situations where they could work alongside each other to save the baby she had poisoned. He only joined the unit until autumn 2015, but they quickly became friends. He would go to her home, or else they'd meet for meals and coffees. Sometimes they'd go to walks or visit the Cheshire Oaks designer outlet. The relationship between the pediatric register and the nurse he so admired was an uncomfortable and, on occasions, ridiculous thread that ran through the entire 9-month trial. Apparently, she referred to him as boyfriend, and during one particular testy exchange during her cross-examination, she appeared to concede that was the case. So, they suggested that she was so infatuated with him that in at least 4 of the cases, she attacked and murdered babies, knowing that the medic would be the one that would have to come and help. She created the crisis situations because she wanted to get his attention to work with him so that they could try to save the babies together. It gave her something to talk to the doctor, who is 17 years older than her. The unsuspecting medic even provided a shoulder for her to cry and get comfort, telling her what a good nurse she was when she feigned upset after murdering 2 brothers, identical triplets, on consecutive shifts. Their closeness was certainly noticed at the colleagues at the hospital. The thing is, even in my worst imaginations, I couldn't come up with something like this. Like it doesn't surprise me, because murderers exist in every society, but like to do it for something this petty and to someone that innocent is just mind-boggling, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that are willing to kill for money, right? Like every society has criminals. Like this is not something that is surprising. But what is surprising is like you take a human life for something this petty, just like to spend 15 minutes with a guy that you like. God, look at the messages. Sat having a quiet moment and wanted to cry. Oh, Lucy, poor little thing. And you, are you okay? Have a cry. You'll feel better, I'm sure. You're welcome to take my car home if you're tired to walk. I'll sort out picking it up in the morning. We've lost 2 babies I was caring for, and now this happened today. Makes you think, am I missing something? Am I not good enough? If anyone knows how hard you've worked over the last 3 days, it's me. If anybody says anything about you not being good enough or performing adequately, I want to promise me that you'll give my details to provide a statement. Well, I sincerely hope. I won't ever be needing a statement, but thank you, I promise. Yeah. I don't know what to say, chat. It's one of those things that's like if I was to read it in a book, unironically, right? Like if someone no, actually let me put it differently. If my writer for the video game would come up with this behavior for a succubus, I would refuse the writing. I would be like, dude, no one is going to believe it. It's so fucking cheesy. It's like too over the top. It's too cartoonish. Like no one behaves like this, okay? This is just way too much, way too far. What are you doing? But I guess reality is far more obscene. I'm not sure if Western nations could do another round of lockdowns with economically collapsing the world. Economy on losing face completely, even if the COVID-23 2.0 was that bad. Yeah. It's also the economy as well. I mean, they're still in a conflict with Russia. Tensions are getting worse in Taiwan. I don't think that the West is going to try to do more lockdowns. So curious, lockdowns came right in time for the American elections. No, I don't think so. Like, I genuinely don't think they will happen. Not to mention, like, they can still justify mail-in voting in most places, right? So, I think, like, the mail-in voting has been solidified. Like, there have been states which defortified it, and there have been states which fortified it forever. So, like, it really depends. I don't think, like, the pandemic excuse is going to influence the way people vote now. Like, it's already established. Ivy, in my opinion, this woman needs to be up on a wall. No, I think, like, this woman, like honestly, what like, if I could do any type of punishment to her, right, so I can pick and choose whatever I want, I would put her in a room with the parents of the babies. I think, like, that would be the most adequate and fair punishment, right? Like, just in a room with the parents, that's it. That's it, you know, like, nothing more, nothing less. I think, like, you know, like not years in prison. No, just put her in a room with the parents. I think that's sufficient. You should ask yourself why you think it's over the top. Why is it unrealistic? No, because, again, to take a human life for something this petty, you know, like, I can understand when people murder out of revenge or because they were caught in a moment of passion, right? It's like basically like your brain shuts off, you know, like you when I was at the court, I would read cases. It's like the guy came home, found his wife cheating. You know, obviously he's going to be punished and he's going to go to prison. But, like, you kind of get it. It's like, okay, well, his brain shut off, right? Like the emotions were too much. Like you kind of understand it at a level. The same thing with people that are drunk, you know, like, it's unexcusable. But it's like, okay, well, they weren't thinking clearly, so that's why they do it. Because, like, you kind of, again, I'm not saying you're justifying it, because you're not. Like, this is not what I'm trying to say. It's like, I'm trying to say you can understand, right? Like, you can understand how it happened. Like, this person was an alcoholic, his brain was shot off, and he got into a fight, and he injured someone, right? Like, you can't understand it. It's like, okay, well, if he hadn't drank the alcohol, then nothing would have happened, right? So like you can make these rational decisions, or you find out, okay, well, this person committed a crime because he was insulted on the street. Like, this is actually something quite common in Romania, right? So you have like a thug, he was getting disrespect, so because of that he went and checked that guy. Well, obviously he is a criminal, obviously he's going to go to prison, obviously what he did is not justifiable. But can I understand it? I mean, yeah, like if you're on the street, then respect is everything. And if you don't carry yourself, see, I'm using the language. If you don't carry yourself properly, then other people are going to disrespect you further, and then eventually it may even get violent. I kind of understand that behavior. Again, I don't justify it. I don't, but like it comes from a place. But I understand. It's kind of like how I understand. Why a cat sprays the door. Like it lifts its tail and takes a big piss on the door. I understand why it's doing that. I'm not saying it should do that. I'm not saying it's justifiable. But like, I understand the reasoning. Let's put it like this, right? Like, I understand what it was thinking when it did it. But I don't understand like a person that's killing a baby to spend 15 minutes with the guy. Like, that's so fucking petty. That's just no. Like, I don't even know how you would prevent something like that. Like at which point in her life, if you had a time machine and intervened, would you have managed to get her a better person, to become a better person? Like the guy in the street that gets angry and goes to check that dude. Like, I know how to fix the situation, right? You fix the culture, you get him off the neighborhood. Like, but most of the thugs, by the way, if you get them out of the environment that they're in, they become law-abiding citizens. Like, I know from personal experience, a couple of thugs, they went out of the city, they lived in another place, and they became law-abiding citizens. Meanwhile, the people that remained in the neighborhood committed crimes, right? So, like, that's my point. Like, I would know how to fix it, because if you understand how a crime is committed, if you can figure it out, it's like what they're thinking when they're doing the crime, then you can also come up with solutions for them not to do the crime. Like, for example, the cat that pisses on the door. Well, it does that because it probably smelled another male cat on the other side of the door. So, like, if you make sure that no other male cat enters your property, the chances of it spraying is a lot less. Right? So, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can understand how some people operate so that you can know how to prevent it from happening in the future. I don't fucking know how this lady operates. I don't just like, no. Like, there's nothing to understand here. There's nothing to fix. There's, like, no. He had beautiful eyes. Oh, he probably did. I learned in med school that all you need to take a life is an opportunity. Motivation makes it different. The monster is a murderer. Yeah, but like, I wouldn't even know how to help them. Like, that's my point. Like, if I were to have a time machine and like go back into a moment of that lady's life in order to try to change something, I don't know what to do. I genuinely don't. And it's like there's so many things that are wrong there. It's not. I mean, the murder is the biggest one, but then you go down and you find out like the manipulation, the lies, like the whole like imagine what it takes to be able to take the life of a baby, and then when the guy comes up, you're working for like 15 minutes to try to resuscitate, and you're pretending that you're not the one that caused it, and like the acting skills. It's just so fucking bizarre, isn't it? I suspect her brain is just wired wrong. I genuinely like don't know. Like because like this is the first case where this happens, right? Like I've never heard of a similar case ever. Like I'm pretty sure there may be, right? Like and we just don't know, because I was thinking like the other day was reading a lot of crime, and I was thinking about it. It's like, because I was looking like world top serial killer, world top blah blah blah, and I was just looking at it because I was wasting time and going through some YouTube videos, and I was thinking like, there's probably a lot of them that we just don't know because we didn't catch. Like the ones that we know and we talk about, like serial, like the what is it, the Zodiac killer and all of these. And like, well, we know about them because at least, well, the Zodiac probably wasn't caught, right? But like, we know about others because they were caught. However, like, how many of them just don't get caught and we don't know about them? I like to think there aren't a lot of them. But like, was there any other lady that did this? You know, like tried to poison patients so that she can spend more time with the doctor. I guess like the reason that I even talked about this is because there's a joke in Romania, which again, like, I'm wondering if it's a joke now. So like, there's this woman, and her father passes away. So she goes to the funeral, and at the funeral she sees like this guy, which isn't part of her family, but like there's this guy, and he's like really really handsome, and she really likes it, but unfortunately she doesn't have time to talk with him. So the next day, her brother dies, and again, big funeral, goes there, the same guy, you know, like really handsome. She just feels her knees shaking as she's looking at him. Doesn't have time to talk with him, and then she kills her kid. And like, the question is like, why did she do it? And if your answer is to see that guy again, it's like, well, you have the mind of a psychopath, right? Like, that's the joke, because like, normally you shouldn't think about that. But like, apparently it's not a joke. Apparently it happened in real life. Why is the webcam high speed? Is it though? Is it bad? Well, you know what? I won't show skin today then, because yeah, I can see that there's a problem with the webcam. So. Oh, it's because it was at low battery. All right, so hold on, give me a second. I need to recharge the phone. I'll put it in the plug. Okay. I want to show you something else in the meantime. Let's talk about things that are more pleasant. I pissed off a lot of people. So, for those of you who have followed me on Twitter, for a couple of months I was having fun because I understand the ideology, I know what these people are doing, and I like pissing them off. Basically, if you go on Twitter and you say that video game female characters look god-awful, you're going to notice that a lot of furries get pissed off. And there's also people with flags in the bio and all that stuff, right? So it doesn't really make that much sense. It's like, they get really, really angry, like really emotional. And I know why they get angry and emotional, but I want it to be a little bit antagonistic. And I'll tell you why they get angry and emotional right now, okay? So, this is another game which is coming out. I think it's from Bethesda. Now, Bethesda, you know, granted, they're not renowned for giving, you know, like really good designs for their NPCs. But this is how the women look in the new Bethesda game, right? So this is how the female characters look. And I'll explain why they do this, right? Here's the actual, like, the actual reasoning, and I'll make a video on my other channel as well. The reason most video games right now make the female characters look bad, and I'm talking not about Bethesda, I'm talking about Mortal Kombat 1, if you look at the editor in Diablo 4, if you look at most video games that are coming out, and even some cartoons, like He-Man, right? Like Tila looks awful. The reason female characters look this bad is because they're not female. They're not meant to be female. Let me put it this way. They're meant to be women plus, non-birthing people, or how does the press call them nowadays? Like, what do the Democrats call? They're Democrats. They're Democrats. Okay, that's what they are. They are Democrats, right? And I know this because I talk with people from within the gaming industry. Like, they flat out tell me. If you look at so the reason most people complain about the female character representation in video games is because they look androgynous. It's not like they're just like, you know, average people or people that are supposed to not be pleasing to the eye. No, like the way that the jawline is made is the same way that if you were to go to an art class and they would teach you, okay, well, like, this is the jawline that you should give to male characters, this is the jawline you should give to female characters. They give masculine jawlines, they give masculine features, they give, like, broad shoulders. I mean, this lady even has an Adam apple, if you know, you zoom in. They give them tiny breasts. The same thing with the waist, short hair, right? Like everything that when you look at the character, every single aspect is to remove as much femininity as possible in order to create an androgynous character. So why do they do this? Well, they do this because they want to create what they believe is normalization. They're trying to sneak these characters into the video games in order to do what they believe is like creating the aspect of normality. Again, like, this is not just me talking about theory. Like, I know people from within the industry, this is why they are doing it, right? So they're literally removing femininity from video games. Like, it's kind of like an agenda, right? Like you kind of notice it. Like, you have these different corporations, like some of them not even from America, that shouldn't talk with each other. In fact, they should compete with each other. And they all come up with like body type 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than call the characters male and female. They all like push this new skin disease, which very few people have, like vitiligo, right? Like you notice like a lot of games like all of a sudden have this. Why is it? It's because the middle management, which is ideologically possessed, is collaborating with each other. Like they're talking with each other. They're going to various conventions. They're exchanging emails, and they're saying it's like, okay, well, this is the type of cultural shift that we need to push. And they're basically imposing this on their own companies, right? So like from the perspective of the artist who works at Blizzard or whatever, is basically just told, yeah, like, can you make the shoulders a little bit more wide? Can you change the jawline? Can you do this and the right? Like from their perspective, like they don't even know necessarily that this is ideological. They're just like, oh well, like can we tone down the sexuality, right? And it's only with the females. Like they don't do this with male characters. So when you point out on Twitter, when you go on Twitter and you say that these character designs are ugly, this is why the furry with the diaper porn fetish is attacking you. Because like inherently, they know that you know. Like they're upset that you're basically attacking the normalization, right? They don't give a fuck about the video game. They don't really care that you don't like a female. Like 5 years ago, if you said you don't like a female character in a movie or a video game, people would be like, man, okay, sure. But like the vitriol and the anger and the way that they have to really go out of their way in order to attack you for not liking the aesthetic of a video game character is quite questionable, isn't it? Right? Because like for one person to just make a tweet and say, yeah, I don't like these characters, and then to have like hundreds of thousands of people just going in and attacking that person is not okay, right? Like the person that made the original tweet isn't the one that's investing all of this energy and all of this resource to attack and try to suppress what that person has said. And the reason is that, again, like you're attacking the normalization aspect when you're saying that you don't like this. And this is why they hate Japanese cartoons, because Japanese cartoons are breaking the normalization. Their ideology is basically, if we make every single video game take place at night, people will forget that there's a sun outside. But here you have like these other video games that are taking place in sunny weather and everything is nice and wholesome, and they despise it because it's ruining their ideology. It's ruining what they're setting out to do. That's why they hate the anime, right? Now, they don't want to talk about this because this is subversive. Like, they're not supposed to notice it. So instead of like just flat out saying and addressing the issue, what they do is that they will call you a coomer, right? Like if you want, like if you say, I don't like the way that video game characters are made, I wish like this woman was more pretty, they will call you a coomer. They will tell you to touch grass. They will say that you're obsessed with porn. Like they will try to shame you, right? That's their weapon, shame. They will try to use shaming tactics because they know that porn shames people. Like people don't want to talk about it, right? Like people are, they get shy, they get nervous, and they stop defending what they're trying to gatekeep. So like they will use these tactics in order to get you to shut the fuck up. They don't want you to talk. They don't want you to point it out. Like they want to pretend that this is normal, that there's no problem with it, right? But if you actually go into the year 2000 and you look at the video games that came out, you'll notice that there were a lot of beautiful aesthetics. And while there were female characters that look like this, there are also female characters that look like Lady Aribeth or Tali Zora Vas Normandy. Like, you had a wide range of characters. Now all the characters, they look like this, right? So this is what it's about. I'll make a video on my secondary channel. And hopefully, you know, like, more people will call it out, because their tactic isn't really that effective. Like, all they say is shaming tactics. That's it, right? Shaming tactics. They will say, well, why does it matter to you? Why do you care? It's just a video game, right? They'll try to trivialize it. They will try to pretend that it's not a big deal. But they, when you go onto their timeline, you will see that they're attacking the quarter rig, they're attacking heels versus babyface, they're attacking me, they're attacking like all these other people that are pointing it out. Like, that entire timeline is obsessed with attacking people that point this stuff up, and then they go on and say, oh, why do you care? And it's like, well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Like, you care a lot more than me, because I don't go around all day talking about this shit. Sure, I may make a tweet or two, you know, every other week or so, like, that's fine. But they like, you look at their timeline, they're obsessed, absolutely obsessed with going after people that call this out. But yeah, so, funny thing about shame, well, the thing about shame, and this is another thing why pointing out their likes is so effective. You can't be shamed by a person that doesn't have the moral high ground. And this is why, you know, like, they get really upset when you point out their lifestyle and their choices and stuff. Like a person that has a moral life can shame another person, right? But a person that is already depraved cannot shame someone else for being less depraved than they are, right? That doesn't make sense. Like, if you have someone that's into furry diaper porn and tries to shame you for, like, liking vanilla women, what are you doing? I mean, it's just, no. Just stop. So, it's not necessarily like American imperialism or anything like that. It's just like a cultural push done by middle management at various corporations. Right? And middle management comes into different forms. Not necessarily the HR lady. It can be like diversity officers. It can be ethics department, like Square Enix has. Like, it can be all of these people that are at various companies, and they hold a lot of creative direction and artistic choice. And they're the ones that are pushing for this. And again, like, they're not actively, like, just... Like, the best example is the skin disease, right? What is it called? Vitiligo, right? So vitiligo, like, is such a rare disease. Like, some people have it, sure. I think, like, Michael Jackson had it. It's basically like when your skin loses melanin. So, like, if you're a black person, it's very obvious. But even with white people, you can have it, and you're going to have, like, these white spots on your skin. It's not harmful. It's not unhealthy. I would say it's just, like, aesthetically displeasing, right? So most of the people that do have this condition, they may try to use makeup. They may try to cover themselves up a little bit more, because again, like, it's not aesthetically pleasing, but it's not unhealthy either. I never seen it in video games, to be honest, until like 2 years ago, and now almost every video game has it. Baldur's Gate has it. Diablo 4 has it. I think, like, even Elden Ring has it. Right? Like, you notice that all of a sudden, right, like, all these companies that shouldn't even be talking to each other because they should be competitors, like, all these companies are making, like, these characters that have this thing, which wasn't, like, demanded by the gamers. Like, you go on gaming forums, you don't see, you know, gamers advocating for this, or you don't see mods. Because, like, the first thing you would see would be mods, you know, like, people trying to mod this in if it's so important. And then you also have, like, the body types, right? Which is the dumbest thing ever, because, like, they'll go, it's like, oh, we got, like, body type A, B, C, D, right? And it's like, oh, now you can't tell which one is a woman. And I'm like, oh, sure I can. It's the one that covers her breasts, right? So, like, you go, or, because the thing is, like, if they were smart, they would have made the male cover their breasts too, right? And then you can't tell. But what they did is, like, they're doing, like, in Baldur's Gate, they have, like, body type A, B, C, D, and if you click on barbarian, the barbarian has his chest covered. And I'm thinking like, okay, so like the male barbarian has his chest uncovered, but the female has it covered. So like body type 1 and 3 is the female, and body type 2 and 4 is the male. And it's not even that, like body type doesn't even mean what they mean, because body type doesn't mean like male or female. It should be like athletic, right? Like body type athletic, body type fat, body type large, right? Like that. But whatever, it is what it is. It's something that obviously gamers don't want. And it's not just me saying this. Like, you go on various video gaming forums that gamers don't want it. They want it to be made normalized, right? So like they even hate it. Like I get the counter argument. It's like, oh well, everyone is doing it. Why do you care? And it's like, yeah, well, that's the problem. Everyone is doing it. They should stop. Like I don't fucking get it. I don't care if everyone is doing it, right? Because they want you to believe that you're the one with the problem. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not the one with the problem. Like if I wanna show you just how wrong you are, I can just install Neverwinter Nights and play that game again. And like that is, here's one of the things, right? I was talking about aesthetics with an artist, and we were talking about how like right now the gold standard of good aesthetics is anime. Right? Like it's very difficult to find something pleasant outside of anime, like something good looking. And give me a second. Right. So the problem with the anime is that it's not very realistic. Like the drawings, outside of the hair, they're kind of minimalistic in a sense. But anyway, right, I was talking about, like, can you make, like, hyper-realistic characters that are gorgeous? And the answer is that, besides anime, there actually used to be this art form in the West. So, like, the Western animators did manage to do this back in the day. It's a lost art form, I believe, and I'll show you what I mean in a bit. Like this, for example, is from Neverwinter Nights, right? And you have like this type of art style, which isn't anime, but if you look at the lady here on the right, it is realistic looking, right? Like it's a Western artist that made it, and it's very gorgeous. Like, it's really beautiful. You can tell that this is a character. Right? It adds a lot of identity to the character. Like, this is the thing, right? Like, they will laugh and they will say, oh my god, boob armor, blah, blah, blah. The reality is that it adds a lot of identity to the character, right? Like, you can automatically look at this and you're going to say, all right, well, this is a fantasy character. Like, she is from a probably low fantasy or a high fantasy world. The reason she has boob armor is because she can't be tits naked. Like, literally is the barbarian, right? Like, the one that wears as little clothing as possible. That's what they're going with. But, like, she's got, like, long hair, right? Like, she's beautiful. She's got, like, a perfect body. And immediately you kind of, like, realize that this is a character from probably Dungeons and Dragons, okay? Now, let me show you something else. Let me show you what they're doing now. When you look at the West and you see the characters that they are currently making... this one, for instance. This one has no identity. Like, you're looking at her, you don't know what game she is from. Like, she can be from Fallout, she can be from Aliens, she can be from Doom, she can be from Dune, right? Like literally anything. She can be from that game Prey. So, the main issue is that by changing these characters and making them look like this, she looks like the Baron Harkonnen, doesn't she? By changing these characters, you're making them so fucking bland and unappealing. And it's like, literally, you can swap them between video games and it wouldn't fucking matter. Like, if you take this character and you put her into Outer Worlds, you wouldn't even notice that it's a different character, would you? Right? Like they become interchangeable. You can't take that woman with the boob armor and put her in here. Like, she doesn't fit. Like, immediately she just stands out. This character, you can put her almost in any video game you want. It's kind of like the corpo art, you know? Like, it just slots into everything. It can be used into everything. It's anyway, right? So I want to show you a different art style. These ones, like these ones were used back in the day a lot. I mean, look how gorgeous this is. Holy shit. Look how fucking gorgeous this is. Look. Wouldn't you want to go on an adventure with her? Like, be honest. Right? And the thing is, like, the left will be, oh my god, you Coomer, you're addicted to porn. Shut the fuck up. You'd play a game where you'd go on an adventure with her, wouldn't you? Like, you know, it doesn't even matter what she is. Imagine if she's the villain, though. Right? Imagine if she's the villain, she looks like this, she actually behaves in a wholesome way. It would be very difficult to fight with her, and I'm willing to bet a lot of people will even be like giving her redemption, like well, her redemption arc, redemption. But it's so interesting, right? Like these create interesting characters. I want to know more about the world, the universe, and it's so fucking annoying that this art form is lost. This is just completely gone. But like this art form used to exist, and the West was so fucking good at it. Let me show you another example. Look at this. Gorgeous. Fucking gorgeous. Look, like she's a necromancer. But look how adorable she is. Right? Like you create, because the thing is, the reason why this trope works, and why a lot of people like it, is because you have the male lizard brain, which feels the need to protect things that are cute. Whether they're like a cute puppy, a cute kitten, a child, a young lady, a beautiful woman, right? Like everything that looks cute, it triggers into our psyche that we have to protect it. And if you make that cute thing a necromancer, right? So like the opposite thing, like it's evil. It doesn't let the dead rest. It brings their souls back to torment. Like she's a really evil character. It creates like this interesting tug and pull mechanic, right? Like your intelligence is telling you that, okay, well, in this fictional world, this character is a villain. She must be stopped, right? Like she's hurting people. If it was a guy, then like all of a sudden this character arc wouldn't be as interesting, right? Because if it's a guy, okay, it's a male necromancer, go kill him. But if it's a adorable female necromancer, well, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, she's nice. Like maybe we can give her a chance. Maybe, you know, maybe we can fix her. Maybe we can give redemption. This creates interesting dynamics. This is why the character and the player gets invested into the world. You don't get that anymore, right? Like you literally can't do that with this thing. Like you can't. Right? Like if this thing is a necromancer, it's like, okay, punishment time. God Emperor wills it. There's no hesitation, there's nothing, right? So like the aesthetics of the character can actually tell a lot about the story. But yeah, anyway, you know, I think like that art is lost. I don't think like anyone even wants to talk about it, to be honest. They will just say, oh, you're a Coomer, and that's it. V, you're harming the furries. Please stop. There's a really great game about it. I think it was called Nox. Yeah, Nox is kind of like a hack and slash, and the evil character is a female necromancer, and it's the same thing. Like she's evil as fuck, but she's also kind of wholesome. And if you play the wizard, you can actually redeem her and you can make her your wife. You erase her memory. I don't think like that game would ever be made today. Hold on. Let me see if I can have it. let me see if I can find the intro. It's a really old game though. It came out, I believe, at the same time with Diablo 2, which is why the game never caught on, because everyone was playing Diablo 2. But in my opinion, like, this game is a lot better. Like, it had a lot more character and more story depth. Look at the graphics they used to have back in the day, man. I miss these things.
Hail Sabrim, trapped in the dark. Hail Sabrim, adrift on thy bark. Dark Lords banish, thy reign is nigh. My time to bring the orb or die.
Bowling tonight, Jack. Chickens on the griddle.
My undead lords within the core, your name I hail, enfold the orb!
What the heck?
Donande tak, donande tek, erumenta la sed. Damn.
Hun, you want bacon?
You know I do. Damn TV.
Lousy second-rate candle makers. Kill them all when I rule the world. What sort of half-baked operation do they think I'm running here? Now, where was I? Dananda-tat, dananda-tat, da-da-da. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I call upon the power of one dark name.
Man, I miss this cheesy thing. Like, it's so fucking good, chat. It is so fucking good. It was cheesy, it was campy, but you know what? It was the beginning of video gaming culture. And everything was made to entertain people. Yeah, it's Nox. She just misunderstood, yeah. Like, she raised the zombie army and was killing people, and it was just misunderstood. Yeah, she was hot as fuck. Like, let me see if there's actually a picture with her. Hecuba, I think her name was Nox Hecuba. Like, she was very muscular, bleach white. But she, you know, like, they did try to make her look evil looking. Here we go. This is this is how video games were supposed to look like, you know, like it's fantasy, like it's escapism. Right, so this was Hecuba, like she was bleach white, she was very evil, you know, wearing dark leather, and the male character was just the stereotypical barbarian. Man, it's so cheesy. Like I'm willing to bet if I play Nox now, I will definitely enjoy it. You know what? Maybe after I finish my Succubi game, I will actually make a Nox spin-off. Like something that's a spiritual successor. That game is so fucking magical. It's really cool. Video games were shapely and with good form. Yes, they were. Find me a Bethesda game where women look gorgeous. So I keep finding this, you know, like people keep you saying it's a Bethesda game, it's a Bethesda. It's not just a Bethesda game, and I keep giving you the examples, and why aren't you like putting them into your head? I already said Diablo 4, look at the character creator, alright? Look at, I would even say like compare the Baldur's Gate 3 character creator with Dragon Age Origins. You have the, what is it called? The one that just came out. Fuck. They had a trailer for it. The one where the hero looks again like really really ugly. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But there's like another game that does this. Almost every single game that's coming out right now has the same bland, androgynous looking female characters. Mortal Kombat 1, another example, right? So, no, like this whole thing, it's a Bethesda game. No, fuck off. Alright? And again, like, it's not the fact that the female characters look ugly that's the problem. They look masculine. Like, even in other Bethesda games, the female characters looked female. Like, they had feminine features. They had long hair. They had the tiny waist. They had, like, all of these things that made them stand out as... And this is, again, like, not just me picking on a game, you know, like I'm not just sitting in my room and I'm noticing these things. I'm being told these things by insiders from 2 different corporations. And if they're telling me, I do believe them. Because they're different people, they don't talk with each other, and they tell me the same shit. If you remove beautiful women from media, then real women won't have to put in as much effort, because who's got time to go to the gym? See, like the problem is, and I like your avatar because it's pretty much what we're talking about. But like, the problem is, on one hand, they go like, okay, well, if we remove the pretty women from the media, then we normalize our ideology. But like, you have OnlyFans, right? You have OnlyFans, you have Twitch, you have like all these other places, and you look at who is on top on Twitch. It's the unrealistic look, like hyper feminine ladies, or you have like the anime girls, the VTubers. Like, these are at the top of Twitch, right? Because the people, the market, and this is men and women, they demand perfection. Like, if they're going to spend money to look at another person, they're not going to want an average person because they can do that without spending fucking money. You just go outside and you look around and you see people, right? So if they want to spend money on someone, they will spend money on someone that offers them perfection. Like, you're so good looking that other people are willing to pay money just to see you. Right? Like, it makes fucking sense. But anyway, right. So there was another thing that I wanted to talk about, like the war on porn, which is happening right now. I spoke with my publisher, and I'll tell you something interesting. Okay, so there's two types of pornography. There's like the one for the normies with real people, and then there's the ones for the connoisseur with drawings and cartoons. Now, I would argue that drawings and cartoons are less harmful than, you know, someone's daughter showing her boobies on a stream in order to get someone's son to give her bits. But you will see time and time again on Twitter that the people who like real women doing real stuff are going to attack people that like hentai. And I genuinely thought like why this is. And I think it's simple. It's competition. It's competition. Like, there was an account which it's quite a big account. I think it got like 400,000 subscribers. And it was showing like an anime girl with a box full of eggs. And it was like, my waifu's eggs are eternal, your waifu's eggs. That they showed like an OnlyFans girl with an empty cartridge, right? And it's like, well, okay, well, basically, it's full war now between the people that want to make money, right? Because at the end of the day, it's an industry. It's about making money. So you have like the actual women, what the left likes to call the sex workers, even though they don't do sex, because they just stand on Twitch and whatever. But it's between them. And then you have like the VTubers, the game makers, the artists, like the people who can be men. The AI, right? Like the Midway or whatever, like all the other artificial intelligence that make drawings. And this is what's happening, right? Like they are upset that the drawings are now taking away their customers. So this is why they try to equate all anime with porn. All anime with loli. Like, for example, it's so disingenuous to say that Uzaki-chan is a loli. Like, Uzaki-chan is clearly, based on the story, made to be an adult female. Like, she's at university, she's got big boobs. Like, the only thing that she doesn't have is that she's short, right? But, like, she's definitely of age. But you have these people that are trying to equate all anime characters with underage. And then they're trying to say that all people that look at underage anime characters are pedophiles, right? So when you look at it, like, these people, they subscribe to OnlyFans, they subscribe to Twitch girls. Like it's not like they're having wholesome lives, you know? It's not like they're married with a wife and are just, like, looking at this with disgust. No, like, these people are foot soldiers. They have an interest. This is why Vice Magazine is making a documentary which is now getting a Pulitzer, which is doing absolutely nothing besides slandering and lying about manga and trying to equate that everyone who likes manga is probably a pedophile in the making, right? Like, it is so obvious what they are doing. And by the way, that documentary is banned in Japan. Like, if you're in Japan and you want to see that Vice documentary, which has the comments turned off, you literally cannot. Because they know that the Japanese would call them out on their shit. They did nothing but cherry pick, ignore context, even like flat out lied. And that documentary is getting a Pulitzer, which tells me a lot. I have no problem with hentai. It just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, no. Like, I'm not suggesting people should do it or anything. I'm just like explaining what's going on behind the scenes. It's amazing that all these PC games that came out through the 2000s never got into games due to one, growing up in a rural South, and two, major black schools only cared about basketball and football. Yeah, so like when I grew up and these games were a thing, video games weren't popular almost at all. It was to the point where like the jocks and the hot girls in school would ask you like, why do you play video games? Like, games are for children. When are you going to grow up? When are you going to do like real stuff? So they weren't popular at all. Games became popular with World of Warcraft, with Call of Duty, with Counter-Strike, right? Like, I think it's mostly because like most people couldn't afford the computer back in the day. So like it basically, very few people were gaming because of how costly, intensive it was to even afford getting a computer. And then at the time, technology was advancing rapidly. So not only did you have to spend like the equivalent of like $10,000 on a PC, I'm talking about like adjusted for inflation and shit. Not only did you have to spend a fortune for a PC, but on top of that, you had to upgrade the PC constantly. Because if you did it like, okay, well now, I remember like there were the graphics card Voodoo, right? So you had like the Voodoo 1 graphics card, Voodoo 2, Voodoo 3, and you'd have like a new game coming out and it wouldn't work on your PC. You had to get a new graphics card. And when you wanted to get the new graphics card, you realized, oh, well, it's not compatible with my motherboard, so I have to change my motherboard. But, oh shit, if I change my motherboard, then the processor doesn't become compatible. So, like, you had to constantly upgrade. So, a lot of people, you know, they wouldn't play video games because they didn't have the rig to play them on. So, yeah. Like, no, most people would play on consoles and stuff. But, yeah, like, this is why PC gaming was considered very expensive. But even then, it's like, if you had consoles, at least in my town, so first of all, in Romania, it was very difficult to come across a console because most people wouldn't be able to afford it. And even if you did buy a console, it was very difficult to find video games for it. Because there weren't that many stores that offered cartridges and stuff, right? It wasn't like you could just go online and just buy the stuff. So yeah, I mean, I guess it depends where you lived. If you were in the United States, you probably had like more luck. Doom was the first time PC builders had to learn and install a Mythic graphics card. By 95, graphics card was needed. I didn't know that. I was too poor. My friend, though, had a lot of consoles. Played the hell out of Halo with them. Yeah, it was about poverty. Like when you found the guy in class that actually had a console or he had like a computer, it was astonishing. Today the only expensive part of PC gaming is that, man, like today there's no reason to upgrade your PC, honestly. You know, like a lot of people are like, oh my god, I can hardly wait to get a gaming PC. Like, why? So you can see this in 4K? Like, unironically, is this what you want? You want to see this shit? Look at the screen when I'm talking to you. Look at the screen. And I know you think I'm not... Look at the screen. You want to see this in 4K? Huh? Maybe buy a TV, you know? Buy an 8K TV and put this on the 8K TV. Like, I'm sure, like, the fuck are you... Like, there's literally nothing to see. Nothing. And the games that look good have anime characters. So like, there's no reason to upgrade. None whatsoever, unless you're cold in the winter, okay? Like, maybe if you get, like, a 390 Ti and you play Baldur's Gate on Ultra, it still looks like shit, but at least your room gets warm. Unironically, there are no video games that have, you know, like, the type of graphics that you'd be like, oh, well, I want to buy so I can buy a PC. 4K resolution is not cringe. 4K is really good if you have like a big television set. So like if you're playing God of War on your TV, you're going to notice a major difference between 4K and 2K. But other than that, yeah. I need to upgrade my PC for the RimWorld mods I need to play. Well, I guess it depends what you have, right? Anyway, shit. I was supposed to talk about something. I guess we'll talk about. I'll make a video on my main channel because I really need to go. I do have the other videos to make, and then I need to work on my game. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. Sorry I didn't really talk about the subject, but I'll do better next time. And I'll see you guys.